Hello, and welcome back to Steve Reviews Stuff for You. Today, we are reviewing The King in Yellow. Now, originally, this was a book, short story collection, produced in 1895, yep, that long ago, and written by a chap called Robert W. Chambers. So, backtracking a little bit, I came across this uh, when I was introduced to it from a YouTube channel called Greg Johnson Making. And he was working off the graphic novel version of it. Now, the graphic novel version of it concentrates on the titular King in Yellow. There are 4 stories in the collection, however. There are rather more stories, but only the 4 stories are, how do I describe it? Supernatural, ethereal, and Robert Chambers was apparently a very big influence on Lovecraft and his phantasmagorical world of elder gods who interfered and attacked humanity. Not overly familiar with Lovecraft other than by name. I've never read him, but obviously I'm familiar with the name as most people are. So I thought, well, that sounds interesting. So we got the graphic novel, and it concentrates on the first 4 stories, which are the only ones. The Repair of Reputations, The Mask, In the Court of the Dragon, and The Yellow Sign. And they take the idea that if you read this book, which is The King in Yellow, which is a play about, and it's only hinted at. You get sections, you get little passages which tell you what it's about, but it's supposed to basically warp your mind and make you a servant of the elder god, the King in Yellow, and basically he'll kill you, or it'll kill you. And it's all very mysterious and vague. And it's really quite creepy in its way, and it's well written, actually. That's what I should say. All of the stories are well written, but then after those 4 stories, we get some other stories that start with time travel, love story, and they're more romantic, and they aren't. They don't have those elements, other than 2 of the stories I was talking about earlier on. They have a Parisian setting, and he carries on that. And what apparently happened was, after writing these 4 stories, and the others, maybe 1 or 2 of which were quickly written to fill out the collection, he then went on to write nothing like uh, the stories, nothing like the creepies, much to the annoyance of people like Lovecraft, who thought he was really cracked it. And he just wrote like romantic novels and was very successful, and clearly never felt the need to come back to it. So the thing is, I quite like some of the stories. The one I particularly liked was The Street of Our Lady of the Fields, and it's just a romantic story. It's well written. It's got a quite a nice turn of phrase, but it's almost like 2 separate books in one, which is obviously why this version written by Coolbard, basically takes the first 4 stories only. They're interesting. I quite like them. So it's a good graphic novel. I'd recommend that. If you want to delve deeper, they are written in far more detail in this book. I'd recommend them. In fact, in some ways, I'd recommend the collection of short stories more than the graphic novel. They're interesting. So, I'd recommend them. Um, yeah, gone on a bit there. Sorry, a bit of a long one. So, until next time, like and subscribe, or don't. Oh, and do tune in to Greg Johnson. He's a really great YouTuber who basically makes things out of literal scrap. I'll see you next time. Bye.